Good morning, Kyle.
Good morning, Anne. How are you?
I am terrific. You ready to start our show?
I am.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ann Rossley. I'm here with my dear friend and colleague, Kyle Harvey. We are with the Baird Warner Gold Coast office. We sell real estate in downtown Chicago, and we'd love to come to you every week to talk about real estate, answer your questions, give you tips and tricks. Kyle is at our office right now. You can see the famous John Hancock building behind her. And I am in my home office, and hopefully we won't have any technical difficulties today, right?
But we're used to them, so we'll just keep going.
We'll just plow right through them.
All right.
So happy December. This is our we're entering into the holiday season. I've got my 5 rings mug.
I have my 5. No, it's just white. The office mug. I'm in the office, people, at 7:30.
Yes, you left your home, you got over here. Good for you. And next week, Kyle will be visiting us from her newly improved condo. So we're very excited to see that.
But the office where I come to you each week will be the same. So that is unchanged.
Okay.
Cleaned, but unchanged.
Awesome. Today, folks, we are going to talk about value. We had a question from a viewer about fair market value, what the value of a condo is, and does it make sense to buy in a building because it hasn't appreciated, the unit had not appreciably, and what do I want to say?
It's so early, people. It's early, and we did not get enough sleep.
So anyway, so we're going to talk about that today, but first we're going to talk stats.
Excellent.
I'm removing our names. Believe it or not, I remembered to do that. Okay. Chicago Lakefront Communities. This is December info, meaning it's through November. So this is hot off the presses, folks. All right. Volume, closed year to date.
Pretty good. Wow.
Yeah. Down 12.8%.
Off a crazy year, though. That's a crazy year. 2021 is a crazy year, but that's great.
Yes. And this is attached. That was detached. And attached looks very similar.
Yeah. A lot of people moved.
All right, let's talk attached. Median sales price, $417,500. If you've been watching the show, then you know that when we report, we're generally just over 400. The number of units for sale, 2,810 in the lakefront communities, down 26.6%. So inventory is down. So I did this chart and then I thought, how does this compare to previous years? And you can see it's down. It's not as far down as some like 14, 16, 17, but it's pretty low. And we've had new construction, number of units increase in our market area. So,
well, maybe those don't go private. Maybe those don't go private. What's been happening, at least I've observed, is a lot of people have gone off the market and onto the private network.
Absolutely right. And we didn't have the private network available as a marketing tool 8 years ago. However, this is the number under contract, 475. This is the lowest number since before 2012, down 46.3%.
It's a story of inventory.
Yeah, units closed. Pending is the precursor to number closed. So I'm anticipating this is going to go even lower once we see December numbers. 579 closed in November. So the number, we just looked at volume. Now we're going to look at units closed, down 14.4%, because homes have appreciated. It's
Can we ever see like 2019? Because 2020 and 2021 are those weirdo years. I want to get.
You bring up a very good point. There is no way to do it.
No, it offers us 3 years or 150 years. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Okay, good to know.
I know, but I know what you're saying. Just like an answer to questions about what's the typical cycle of the real estate market. You see it every year go like this until you hit COVID, and then everything went kaplooey. Okay,
Yeah,
let's look at
completely.
single family homes. Median sales price 1,275's up 8.5%. You can see the big price appreciation since COVID. Homes for sale 237.
Mhm.
Yeah, so again, look at that. I mean, we've
Very
had
low.
lower, but look at that. Okay, homes under contract, again, we're about the lowest we've ever been in recent years. And homes closed 61, down 48.7. So in terms of number of properties closed year to date, 1,213 single family homes is down 20%. And that, by the way, is pretty representative of the general market area. If you look at all of the Midwest real estate data, it's down about that much. Showings per listing, this is indicative of the number of people out there looking. On average, a single family home got 3 showings in the month of November. That's down 31.8% versus November of 2021. And it was as high as 7.3 in February of this year. So it shows the quick decline. You know, the interest rates did what they're supposed to do. They're putting a halt to the market. But remember, there aren't that many properties to see. So
it's sort of a, yeah.
And you know what? I didn't even do, here's showing index. I didn't even do month supply, which you know is kind of my go-to because it's just, it makes no sense at this point because.
It makes no sense.
Yeah. All right. So the showing index, which everybody knows who watches the show, is a funky number. In February, March, it was 236, 268.
Yeah.
And that is a number that compares to January 2014. We are now down as of October, because this is the latest they had, 115.
Wow.
So again, it shows that we're about half of what we were. And here's the Midwest region at 129 and the United States at 134.7. I think the only reason it's higher elsewhere is they have areas like Texas, Florida, you know, the Carolinas, where people are still interested in buying. So that's it.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to come up with something really peppy and happy to say, and I haven't had enough sleep, people.
Okay, this is anecdotal. I don't have a cool statistic, but I know, for example, that I have 3 listings that are on the private network right now that are going to go live in the spring because we're hopeful that people will be coming back. I am getting inquiries from clients, and I know you're working with several clients right now, that people are starting to get used to the new normal of what the interest rates are. And I feel like we're going to go back to a pretty normal market come spring. It won't be this sky high. You know, if you're going 200 miles an hour and you put the brakes on and then you go down to 75 miles an hour, it feels like a huge drop, but.
Yes. So agreed. I have a property on the private network, and I have listings about to come on. I'm going to wait. I have a listing that should be ready to go at the, you know, the end of the week of the 12th. But I'm going to suggest that we wait until January 2nd. Mm-hmm. Just because let's just start when, you know, the new year, new you, new attitude. Everyone's going to be, I think to your point, it's going to be a new start. But interestingly, I have 3 buyers active and actively considering co-ops. I mean, they're looking at condos too, but they're really actively considering and liking co-ops. So you co-op owners out there who are feeling so down, one of the co-ops that I had shown, one of the buyers is already under contract. So there are people out there active, and the people who are active are buying, is the sense that I have.
Well, I have found over the years that co-op buyers or co-op transactions tend to be less cyclical.
Yes.
People look at them for a longer time, make a, you know, very thoughtful choice.
They buy them in March. They buy them whenever they're ready to buy, to your
That's
point.
exactly right. Yeah. Do you think your co-op buyers are price sensitive? Is it because co-ops have gotten so low in value, or is it because of the exclusivity of them, the vintageness of them? Okay.
These are people who love the stock,
Yeah.
what you're
The
getting.
grand vintage floor plan.
And true to your point, the one you just made, which was very good, the price per square foot cannot be beat.
Yeah.
You will. So one of the things that I do for my buyers is I break out HOA and taxes for condos and co-ops separately so that they can see that their monthly nut, the monthly amount that they're going to pay, even if you pay your taxes twice a year, whatever,
Right.
for condos, is the same or similar. And that what you're getting are the other intangibles that may or may not interest you. So, for example, we saw some co-ops that have fewer amenities, and then 2550 Lakeview, which has nothing but every amenity you could ever ask for.
Right, right.
And they seem to like the ones with fewer amenities.
Right. Well, aren't those the people that tend to have their clubs that they go to too?
Well, there is so 2550 is beautiful, and they have lovely staff, and it is fantastic, but it also has a feel a little bit of a 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
And there are people who don't want to live in a 5-star hotel.
Right.
I love people to take care of me and help. But I'm also saying I also get the niceness of saying hello to your doorman and going upstairs and just having it be quiet. So, right. It's all what you're looking for.
Yeah, no, that makes good sense. Yeah. So I want to just make one quick comment. You mentioned taxes. Everybody, the property taxes are out there. Make sure you get your property taxes paid by December 30th. And put in the comments section underneath here, wherever you're watching this, YouTube, Facebook, whether your taxes went up or down. Because I have a lot of people who went down.
Mine went down. Yeah. And mine went down pretty significantly. God bless.
Yay. Right. So anyway, are we ready to?
Yes, let's start. Yeah.
Okay. So let's redefine the question again. The question was, what is value, and is my property, how do I know if I'm getting a good buy?
So it's how do I know if I'm getting a good buy? And then turn it around from sellers is, what do you mean you want to list it at this price? A little bit of, I bought it at X and now I want to sell it at X plus some amount. Right. And why are you telling me that I need to sell it at X, listed at X minus some amount?
Right. Well, and a lot of this comes from the fact that we talk median sales price every week. So we on purpose choose median sales price because it is a more accurate reflection than average sales price. Median sales price means half of the sales are above that number, half are below. So as opposed to just taking an average. But when you have an average, if you have a couple of $10 million sales, that throws everything off. But the downside of talking median sales price is it could be that all homes go up like water, the water level rises, but it can also mean that there is a greater number of higher priced units selling at that time. And we have seen, haven't we, in our market area, that the new construction has been of a luxury or a higher quality. So in a sense, we've seen more units of a higher price selling, which could be affecting that median sales price. And maybe median sales price is not indicative of really where the building itself is that the client is looking at.
But when we look at median sales price and average sales price, again, the average is always higher. So anyway.
Right.
To your point, yeah.
And so the client said to me, if single family homes in the lakefront communities went up 10%, shouldn't my home go up 10%?
Right.
And the answer is no. You can't come to that. No, you can't come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
All right. So fair market value. What is fair market value? It's the price the home would sell for in an open market under normal conditions. normal conditions being the key word, and we haven't had a normal market in over 3 years, it's often different than the actual market value or the appraised value that's used for property taxes.
So let's pause here on actual market value. Actual market value is what it sells for, because that's the actual.
Right.
But one of the things that we real estate brokers do for sellers is through our CMA, comparative market analysis, show you what's selling and compare your home to that to give you a sense of where it's likely to sell. And it's not definitive yet because it hasn't actually sold, but it gives you a sense of where it's likely to sell. And so each home is a data point rather than the market is what tells you. You know what I mean? It's the house and it's what's going on in the area around it. Go ahead.
No, so you and I, as we were preparing for the show, we're talking about various assets and how they appreciate, depreciate, and we were talking about them in comparison to a home. So if you think about it, think about a diamond, think about a car, and think about a house. Each of them separately do different things if you don't touch them. Yeah. Meaning if you buy a diamond and you don't touch it,
it's still a diamond. It's still carats, it's still clarity, it's still what are the other ones? Flawlessness.
Color cut, clarity.
Color cut and clarity. It still is.
Sorry, Erkman Jewelers. I should have known those. Okay. The car, if you don't do anything to it, it's going to depreciate. And if you use it,
even if you do stuff to it, it's going to depreciate.
Right. Right. And
then older.
Yeah, the house, the same thing. Now, you may not know this if you don't have investment property, but if you are an investor owner, you can deduct the depreciation on your investment property over 27 and a half years or 31 and a half. Check with your accountant. But my point is, the IRS acknowledges that there is depreciation and that properties do depreciate. So that's something to think about. A car depreciates immediately when you drive it off the lot, but continues to go down in value. And at some point, it's worth its spare parts, right?
Well, and so we had a blip this year, just to talk about cars. Even older cars all of a sudden had a surge in value because there weren't enough new cars. And that's sort of similar to housing, that older houses that, start to become worth more because there aren't enough. We aren't building enough houses.
Right.
So
demand is part of this, demand and supply. And that's part of every economic equation. And then, of course, what can you replace it with? If you have, a house, houses are very unique.
They are unique. That's absolutely. Okay. So,
anyway, so the point of this is, I don't think some people realize that homes can depreciate and that you have to maintain them. You have to do things to them. I mean, if you bought a bungalow in 1930, let's just say you bought a bungalow in Mayfair, okay? Brand new, beautiful home. If you didn't fix the roof, if you didn't fix the plumbing, if you didn't update the electrical, at some point that home would either have to be torn down, and the value of that home is either land value, or you've got to redo it because it's just inhabitable. So,
and to talk about condos, so homes are one thing, but condos are another thing. Condos are actually two things. Condos are the individual unit and the building in which they're found.
So let's talk about building. And there are outside factors that affect market value. And to Kyle's point, a building is a building. And at some point, you cannot improve a unit so much that it'll overcome what that building is.
Yes.
Is there a different way to say that? Or how do I?
No, you have said it well. Though I'm in a building and I'm selling in a building that is a B building, meaning it never was an A building. It was always built as sort of like a B building that doesn't have many amenities. It has a few, but it's well managed, good size, built in the 60s. And it doesn't have outdoor space except for a common outdoor space. There are no balconies or anything like that. And it's got mechanical
two-pipe heating.
Huh?
Two-pipe heating.
Two-pipe heating. It's got mechanicals from another age. And the largest units that haven't been, combined are 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. There is only so much pricing improvement, increase in value over time for that building because newer buildings are built. So it's always going to be, what you want to do is max it out, the value of your unit, but you don't want to over improve because no one's going to pay $1.2 million for 2 bedrooms, 2 baths in an older building. I mean, just they're not right now.
Right.
At 1,650 square feet, they're just it's not. So that's a factor. But location, neighborhood, proximity to services will affect even newer buildings, but certainly even older buildings. So a building that gets in a neighborhood that gets hot is going to improve in value, especially if it keeps up. And the building also has to keep up. So sometimes you're not in control of how well your building is maintained.
No, absolutely right. And just like there's intrinsic value just because you're in a particular building too. You could be, like they say, buy the smallest house in the neighborhood. You could buy the least improved unit in an A building and it'll still be worth something because it's in that building. Or you might buy in a particular location, and even if the property itself needs to be improved because it's in that location, you're in great shape. So, and that's the point of this. And I just want to go back and do this. We talked briefly, but there are external factors that affect market value: demand, inventory, interest rates, consumer confidence, and outlook.
And we're affecting all of those right now. That's going on right now.
So then to summarize, then there are other factors that affect the value of a unit, whether it's, the land or the building. And we just went through those. But then there are these specific factors that affect market value, whether it's a condo or a house. Yep. You want to run through those?
Well, and we talked a little bit about the systems. There are a number of buyers who need 4 pipes because for condos. Well, let's just talk condos right now. 4 pipes because they need to turn on the air conditioning in the middle of winter for various reasons relating to their health and comfort. And so certain buildings will not appeal to them at all.
Right.
Aesthetics, in stock. So it's
is the unit in style? Is it on trend? I should have said on trend, but that's more on trend than in style.
But it's so it's very interesting. Everyone's got their own idea about trend, but what it has to be is looking good for whatever it is, because then somebody's going to say, oh, well, then I can do minimal stuff to it. Right. It's kept up. Aesthetics need to be kept up. Don't you agree?
Right. Like if you have one of those old houses that has the, linoleum tile in the kitchen that's curling up and coming out, right? That somebody might like linoleum tile, but if the condition's not,
Well, so for example, I was in showing somebody a beautiful unit at 2550 Lakeview, but they had and they bought probably from the developer, but they had chosen and kept builder choices for their for all the aesthetic kind of pieces of the apartment. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't age well.
No, that's right.
And that'll affect things. Yeah.
Floor plan and square footage. Now, sometimes they cannot be changed in a unit or a house, but sometimes they can. And that certainly affects value. People like open floor plans right now in general, not the Miss Kyle, but in general. And that will affect value. And certainly if the floor plan doesn't work for you, it's not going to have the value. The view and the floor height, if you're in a condominium, east lake views are very different than west views, right? Some buildings don't have any view at all.
Some buildings have no view at all, and some people don't care. But there are fewer buyers who do not care.
Right. And then, of course, amenities, whether it's parking, is it attached, outside, balcony, appliances, flooring, level of finishes, et cetera. These are all the factors that affect market value.
Well,
so,
interestingly, another thing that we didn't put on there, but restrictions. So, for example, I live in a building that does not allow dogs unless they are emotional support animals. And that affects people want to be able to bring their dogs or buy dogs or have the ability to buy or whatever, dogs. And that is affecting the value of our units.
Well, and that's kind of a change of lifestyle. I have to say, when I started in the business 35 years ago, there were very few condominiums that allowed dogs. And if they did, they had to be 35 pounds or less. Times have changed. And so more and more buildings are allowing bigger dogs. And so, yes, that's very much true. Okay. So as you mentioned earlier, the influence of comparable properties helps us determine what the price is. Half a mile, similar to the subject property in terms of construction, age, amenities, tier meaning up and down in a building. Condition comparison, updated useful life, and most recent sales. So this is, I'm just showing you a quick example, and I want to do this fast because Kyle's got a really cool thing to show us. But if I were looking for the value of my 400 West Ontario, this is how I do it. I look in River North, active and sold 6 months, condo loft, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,450 and 1,800 square feet. And this is the spreadsheet I end up with. And these are the ones that are most comparable. I did not put a price parameter on here, but you can see that the value lies somewhere between 537.5 closed and 655 closed. 875 is interesting, but it's active. It isn't closed yet. So we further dig down into all of those other variables to come up with what we think is the fair market value to price it at. And if you have this link, you can look at what all those properties look like. Okay. This is our final slide before we go into our building.
These are the attributes that generally mean you will gain value as an owner of a condo. Hot neighborhood, good schools.
Appeal to most buyers.
Yes. So these are the things, some people want to pay much less in HOA and taxes because then they can buy more square footage. So that will mean that they'll be choosing, the smaller condos, because they approach how they maintain buildings differently. Fewest restrictions, outdoor space. These are all the things we've been talking about.
If it's unique, as many are not like it. Like if you have a unit that has a big terrace, for example, not just a plain balcony, there are very few of those. So that would be scarcity, and that would help you to maintain your value.
Yeah. Well, that's also fantastic. I'm sorry. I just think those are fantastic. And upkeep. And really it is, and we're about to see this in the next analysis. So let's go. Do you mind if we jump to, so now I'm going to present. So everyone come along with me as I screw this up. Chrome tab. There we go. Share. Are you with me, people?
Now we are.
Good. So Anne and I both did this. She did it for a different building. I did it for this building. This building is 100 East Bellevue, which is a very nice condo building of 3, 2, and 1-bedroom apartments. Though the 1-bedrooms are few and far between in the Gold Coast. And as you will see, I took a look at 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, just because otherwise there was way too much data over the past about 13 years, and came up with this chart. And you'll see that the green is the baseline, blue means the first sale, and purple means the second sale, and there's one orange, which means the third sale of the same unit. And you'll see that we're going to take a look at unit 15C, which has, and then we're going to look at unit 11C. But first 15C, because it's had some loss in value, and we'll talk about why. So now I'm going to stop sharing this. Are we back?
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm going to start sharing. Share screen. And is it? What is it? Oh, it's that share window. It's okay. It doesn't seem to want to share. Hold on. Let's just see if I can pull it up. Let's see if this allows it to show up. Share window. There we go. Okay. So this is the exterior, a handsome building for 100 East Bellevue. And unit 15C, again, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. As you'll see from here, 1,400 square feet. So this is that slice of the chart that I showed you earlier, including the data. And you'll see that it sold in 2012, 2013, 2015, and 2021. And on the first sale, it lost about 2%, 2.5% of its value, in a sense, because they lost money on the sale even just a year earlier. But then it gained 12% and then lost 30%. So let's take a look at the slides that led to that. Hold on. So this kitchen was the kitchen that was purchased in 2012, and it was the kitchen that was sold in 2021. Never updated. It's exactly the same kitchen. Are you still there, Ann?
I'm here. I'm watching.
Okay. Phew, because I'm. So here's the bathroom, same bathroom, with some updates. They were very intelligently done, so it's not a total gut rehab. They kept the tub, they kept the toilet, they kept the vanity, but they changed the color. They updated a little bit and made it just look fresher. Okay.
Changed the lighting. You notice they got rid of that bar light and put in the. That would have been a very minimal change, and they put in the shower door. Yes, very minimal, but huge impact.
Huge impact. So the bedroom. So this, I'm comparing like to like. So in 2014 and 2021, I think I've screwed this up in terms of the days, but this is, as you will see, the pictures for the most recent sale are the same as they were from the previous sale where there was that gain of 12%. They didn't change the pictures at all. Even though it was totally different owners, they somehow got the right to use the pictures. So yeah, it must have been that they cleared out. But so in 2013, they took, they covered the, well, actually that looks like carpet. So they updated the carpet to a little bit darker carpet and made it look like a bedroom rather than a den. Here's
a question for you. Same pictures, they had the right to use them. Is it, and that's when they lost 30%. This is my hypothesis.
They didn't really look like this.
It didn't look like this because they put a tenant in. You know, that's when I ask for the guys' pictures from before, is when my owner has a tenant in there and it shows like crap. And so I'm wondering that's why they, you know, if that isn't why they took a 30% bath on that 2021 sale.
We have no idea, but I'm just
no idea. Right.
The freshness of the update for the price improvement. So good pictures, good lighting, sort of staged-ish. Okay, so that gives you a sense of the improvements over the first sale that allowed that change. Okay, so now it's 2018. Sales in the 11C has sold in 2018 and 2021. So this is what it looks. So and that's 3 years difference. But so and it improved in value 38%.
Okay.
So original condition. This is what it looks like now.
Wow.
Okay.
Is that the new hot flooring? The wide plank?
This is wide plank. So they pulled up the parquet. They added interest on the ceiling, which some people won't like because it sort of lowers the ceiling. And remember, this was built in the 70s.
But it had a concrete ceiling. So if you want any kind of downlighting.
Yeah. You can, and this is instead of, to your point, excellent point, instead of track lighting, they created this interest on the ceiling.
Yeah.
So this was the kitchen in 2018. Kitchen in 2021. Bathroom in 2018.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
So that's what, this is, stop sharing. So that's what's, the difference, that somebody made a real change. And the other unit, 15C, coasted on 10-year-old or close to 10-year-old stuff, upgrades. So, it just, times change. You got to stay up with it. You got to, if you want the value of the property to increase, you have to do things to make it happen.
Right. Right. And they don't have to be huge, as we saw in that first bathroom. And so, I guess the point of the show is values are going to change up and down over time, and you want to be smart. It makes sense. And part of the service both Kyle and I offer is to come in and talk to you about the improvements you want to make so you can make some wise choices, not do things that are so specific to you that they'll impede your value or hurt the value, but will help you and help you enjoy your home. Now, if you don't ever care what the sales price is, go nuts. Do anything you want to do to the property. But if you want to be able to sell it in 5 to 7 years' time with minimal cost to prepare to sell, then it pays to be thoughtful.
Everyone, that was a point made to me because I have just improved my condo in a way that is highly idiosyncratic. But anyway, no one's watching now. So
no, but you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm doing it for me. This is a gift to Kyle.
Right. You don't anticipate putting it on the market in 2 years, expecting people, everybody to love it. So yeah,
it's for me.
That's the other thing, everybody. That's why you should consider owning and not renting, because you get to do what you want to do to your home. Yes. How awesome is that, right?
That was also another kindness Anne's making to me, because Kyle's panicking a little bit. Anyway.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Next week.
Next week, what?
We're going to see him. We've run out of time. It's 37 points.
We need to say goodbye for the week. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you have other questions we can answer, please send them our way. Meantime, we're going to go out there and keep selling real estate. So thanks for watching. Kyle and Ann signing off.
Bye.